Hey, what's going on, Golferos? Welcome back to the Salud Golferos podcast. Really cool one here because for those of you who don't know, I actually celebrated my honeymoon in Portland, Oregon, and our guest today is Dane Delgado, the owner and creator of Matchstick Golf. Dane, welcome to the podcast, man.
What's going on, fellas? Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, of course. As always, guys, when we start these podcasts, as soon as we jump on the camera, we start talking about a whole bunch of stuff, and there's already a bunch of great content that we got for you today. We're gonna learn a little bit about what Dane has going on up there in Portland. But as I said, he's the owner and creator of Matchstick Golf. I guess let's kick things off, Dane, by just describe to the people what is Matchstick Golf and what does it mean to the golf world.
Yeah, so Matchstick Golf is the sort of the art project, I guess, is kind of how I think of it, that I have. It's a golf accessories company. Our main thing is really metalwork. So golf ball markers, divot tools, bag tags. That's really where we started. And we launched to the public in 2021, but I worked on it through 2020. And then it's kind of expanded through there. Like I make some towels, ferrules, some other projects I can't talk about just yet. We just launched our first sort of apparel line and other hats, things like that. We just opened our own shop, but it's kind of just like the first golf ball markers we ever made were because I couldn't find something I liked. And I kind of like take that into other golf accessories where it's like, I see like a gap here for something that I don't really find something that I want. So what if I just made it myself? And that's kind of the whole inspiration behind the company. It's like, what if I just made it myself?
Yeah. No, that's really sick. And honestly, like that, I think that's how I stumbled across you because I was looking for a ball marker, something unique. I have like kind of the stereotypical, coins that you would find with like your favorite team on there and stuff like that. And yeah, I came across your Sugar Skull ball markers, and I thought that was so sick. And I showed it to Serge, and I sent him over your brand, and Serge is like a total pin guy and ball marker guy. So that's really cool that you took that and ran with that. Did you have any type of background in any of that before doing that, or how did you get into making ball markers?
Okay, so it's kind of hard to say because I was a sports writer for 9 years before this, and then I was an accountant for a couple of years over COVID. I got a second degree, but I grew up as an art kid. My mom is an art teacher. My high school had one of the first video programs where you did like, instead of like morning announcements over a PA, we had a TV show that I was the executive producer of. So I've always been kind of doing something creative, and obviously being a writer is creative, but also growing up going through the first parts of my career as a blogger, there's a lot of like visual elements. And my big thing was actually doing video. So like playbook breakdowns, I was like the second person to ever do that for the NBA. And then eventually like I'm watching Kobe Bryant do it during an NBA finals, which is like wild. So the art factor of it, like if I kind of explain my whole, like the last 20 years of my life, it makes sense in context. Cause it's like, okay, I was also an accountant and I have a business degree. So I'm able to like keep track of my own finances and stuff like that. All the stuff you need to run your own business.
Pretty important. Yeah.
But in soundbite form, it doesn't really make any sense. There's not like, I don't have like a graphic design degree, things like that. So
yeah, that's what I'm like understanding.
Yeah, right,
like
okay,
you're going from like accountant, you're going to TV production and then writing, and then you're like all of a sudden a designer, which is cool, man, because you are coming out with like, great designs.
Yeah, it's dope. It's kind of funny. Like I remember interviewing for my first accounting job in like the end of 2019 or something, and the guys watching me walk through it, and I was just like, they're kind of looking at me for a long time. This is weird. And then when I got hired, the guys were like, well, we saw you on TV the night before talking about the Blazers. Like we were like, why the hell is this guy here? Like I was like, oh yeah, it's a whole thing. Let me explain it to you. Yeah. So, but it's funny.
Dang, that's so funny. Yeah, and like, so you had no kind of like technical experience. So like, because we're looking at the workshop behind you. So for those of you that are listening on Spotify, Dane's got you got a whole workshop behind you, and your Hex is probably falling in love with some of the stuff you got back there, because that Hex is our guy that does that too. But like, how did you stumble into that? Like all of the machine work to actually go ahead and, because most people, we say, hey, we want to make a ball marker, so we go look to China, we go look to these other places and try to explain our vision. Maybe some are lucky, they get that vision, coming across in the final product. But I mean, you're going from grassroots to, final product. How did you get into that?
So everything is sort of has a learning curve, and you sort of take it step by step, and I don't bite off more than I can chew. But sort of where it starts is obviously in Illustrator. And I had already used a bunch of the Adobe suite since college, and I graduated college in 2010. So I've been using like InDesign and Illustrator and Photoshop since 2007 or 8 or something, and you just like get proficient in that and how it works. And then when you already have sort of like an art background or an eye for that, like I'm also like I really like photography and videography, but that also kind of plays into how light works and composition of scenes, that kind of thing. Like all that kind of transfers over. And then, you spend a lot of time on YouTube videos just being like, why the hell does this not work? And trying to find something and trying to figure out how one little tool works. And then you see a TikTok, 8 years into your career that makes something very simple. And you're like, oh man, seriously? I didn't know that existed the whole time. Come on, Adobe. And the rest of it is just kind of like as it comes. So, I'm sitting in a workshop here where behind me to my left, this is the whole inventory rack. Directly behind me, you can see this thing is a bandsaw. There's a whole huge like club building and woodworking station. So I have like a hand oscillating sander, a standing band sander. I actually have a table saw, which is extremely loud. And then over off screen where you can't see, there's a hat heat press, a t-shirt heat press. There's a 40-watt laser cutter, which is what I use to cut out wood bag tags. So I actually cut the wood that I processed down like straight here with the laser. And then moving back across this way off screen, I have all the blanks for all the wood pieces. So blanks for this, because I have 9 different kinds of woods for these. And then also like I make ball marker displays out of Oregon red elm. I have a sticker and photo printer. I have it's called a Brother Scan and Cut, but it's basically like a Cricut. If some people might know what that is, it's like it's like a automatic blade basically. But I make stickers here. I can make vinyls for stuff. And then sitting right next to me off camera is an X-Tool F1, which is a dual head diode and infrared laser, which is what we use to laser engrave the ball markers, because they're all plated nickel, and a diode head won't do that. So even at 40 watts, so a 2-watt head will do that. But I also use it to now, so I have a filter on it to laser out all the designs on the bag tags. So there's kind of a lot of stuff up here. It's kind of funny because my mom is like I said, my mom is an art teacher and also a crafter. And every time she comes up here, she's like, yeah, so many toys. And it's like, oh, I guess there's a sewing machine over off to the right. It's like, I have so many toys. It's like, yeah, I guess I don't think about it that way anymore. It's like, does it make me money? Is it a tool I can use? Like before Matchstick was my full-time job, it was like, oh, this is so cool. I got this new thing. Now it's like, how am I going to get that money back of that thing I spent? So, but it's a pretty fun spot, and you can kind of like think of anything you can think of to make. It's like, it's very fun to be able to like, oh, I need this thing. Like this guy sent me some divot tools. This guy who has like 40 followers in North Carolina, and he makes these divot tools out of reclaimed hickory, right? I needed something to put it in, so I took a blank piece of red elm and then used a drill press and drilled it down to it, then sanded it and stained it and laser engraved it. It's like, oh, divot tools, it's like, took me 30 minutes. It's like, that was pretty cool, now it's just down there. So everything in the shop is, all the shelves and stuff in the shop are made by me. So yeah, it's fun.
Dude, that's freaking sick. And Hex, bro, look, I see you cheesing right now. You're thinking,
I know,
like,
I've been
I need a shop like that.
You've been smiling. And I can just remember the time we were playing at a freaking Carrizo one time, and Hex is like, I can take that piece of wood and make something out of it. There's so much. Like, everything you're talking about, it's like something that Hex has talked to us about. All the stuff that he's got, like, in mind to do.
Yeah. So yeah, I do. I have a lot of tools as well at my house. I have a drill press. All the fun stuff that you want to create something. I need a drill press. I want to create this. I need a table saw. I want to create that. I need this. So you just keep collecting stuff. So I'm the same way. So when you can't mention, I'm like, damn, this guy got a lot of goodies.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot up here. Yeah, it's
X is gonna go knocking at your door.
So that's the thing. Is funny about it though is like I have like some friends who live in this neighborhood with me here in St. John's in North Portland, and you know, like I have a friend who's part of my regular golf foursome, and his wife is a ceramics artist, like on the side, obviously. And it's like, oh well, you know, if she needs to, you know, ever use any of this stuff, like just come use it. It's here, you know. Or I have a friend who's a bunch of friends who are comedians, but one of them is like that's what he does for a living, and he needs some merch, and it's like, well, I can teach you how to use the heat press, making t-shirts, you know. It's like, it's here, come use it, you know. It's like, it's a communal space for people that I know, at least, you know. I'm not going to break anything, but why not, you know?
That's dope, dude. That's really sick that you're open to having people come in and create, because yeah, like I said, most people would try to like outsource it, go somewhere else, and you never really get to get hands-on and design the product unless you are in the warehouse with them. And I'm not flying all the way to China to make a ball marker, if I'm just being honest. That's really cool, man. What was the first ball marker that you made? Or is that the first actual product? I think you said, right, you were looking for something and you couldn't find it, so you made it yourself?
Yeah.
Or?
So the story of Matchstick is kind of funny. So I was using a golf ball marker by Jones, the golf bag company, which is actually just south of us here in Tualatin, Oregon.
Okay.
Good dudes. I was using a shuttlecock marker, which is also called a birdie, right, from badminton.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I like that cleverness, but it also had the same sort of like fit and finish, like in terms of like how thick it was, how big it was. The paintwork was really nice. You had a high polished back, all that good stuff. And so I 3-putt on my home course on 17. I'm all pissed off, and I don't put it back in my pocket. I didn't have a hat clip at the time. So I'm all upset. I go back and look for it. I call a pro shop, maybe turn it in. They're just like, dude, let it go. It's a golf ball marker. Calm down. So I spend that summer looking for golf ball markers, right? And I go through the whole thing. I go through all the people that you guys know, you know, and I buy them or whatever. And I'm like, this paintwork kind of sucks. And like, a lot of them have like what's called a waterfall back, which is what that texture is on the back of like pins you would buy, and it's like it's kind of low quality. Or like every Matchstick golf ball marker has an embossed stamp in it, so it goes downwards. So it actually, even though it's like a little bit, it's a little detail thing. It's like it sits flat on a green. It doesn't have like my Maker's Mark going outwards from it to make it sit uneven. It wasn't really like a lot of guys I bought them from would be like $40. The paintwork is bag, and then it'd be like bigger than a poker chip. It's like, who the hell is using this? This is a dinner plate. This is crazy. I tried buying a Tyson Lamb one, which was cool, although it's a little too tall for my likes. But also, like, I thought, man, if this one falls out of my pocket, I'm gonna go bankrupt. I can't do this. And the thing that I really wanted, honestly, was a sugar skull. I wanted a sugar skull really bad, and I won't mention who it is, but there's a very large golf ball marker company that made sugar skulls, and they all had what I thought was racist ones with big, dumb mustaches on them. And I was like, fuck that. So I don't know if we could swear, but
no, go for it, man.
But I was like, this is stupid. So it's like, how hard can it be to make my own? And so I do a bunch of research, and I start, you know, making plans, and I have like this huge list of like things to make, and finding manufacturers and making samples. And it was hard. It was really hard. The thing that I ended up doing was not finding a ball marker manufacturer, it was finding a metalwork company. A metalwork company that I could partner with that could make it, because the biggest thing that was hardest to do was the high polish back and the back stamp. Actually having people that could not have like polish marks in it and stuff. People took care in their work, and it wasn't just cramming these crappy things out, and could do them in different thicknesses, all that kind of thing. So that's who I ended up partnering with as a shop to make them, because making enamel is a pretty extensive process. Like all of my ball markers are, except for the fact that when they make the original press from iron to make it magnetic, everything's done by hand. Everything is every color is injected by hand. It's polished by hand. It's put into a kiln by hand. Everything's done by hand. Nothing's done with machines. So, and you really see that sort of in the care and the sort of the quality assurance. Anyway, so it takes me about 9 months to launch. You know, I have a business plan. I do all this other stuff, whatever. I don't launch until July 18th of 2021. So I launch, and I'm thinking, okay, great. I have eight designs, and one of them is the cash stack. One of them is the one-eyed gator, which just relaunched in a different sort of style. And I'm thinking like, okay, like in a year, I'll contact Jones. They're the big boys in town. I'd love to do work with them or something. Because like in my business plan, it says like the type of people who have a Matchstick marker are putting it back into a Jones bag at the end of the day. That's who I want. That's my demographic. And so I get about 2 weeks in, and I get an email, and it's somebody at jonesportsco.com, and it's Chris Carnahan, one of the owners. And he says, "Hey, I saw your brand launched. Why don't you come down to Tualatin and have a conversation?" It's like, oh, okay, cool. So I drive on down there and we have a conversation, and he's just like, "Yeah, I want to work with you. We should do some stuff together. We should make some stuff for us. We want to stock some of your markers." And I'm like, "What is happening right now?" Yeah. And then I tell him the whole story about like, well, it's funny. I actually lost a Jones marker to start this whole company. Tell him about the birdie. And he goes, "Oh, I have that somewhere." And we walk into their warehouse, and he opened just some drawer that just has like stuff in it, and he's got like 8 of them in there. He picks one, and he goes, "Here you go." I was like, "Oh, I started a whole company, bro." Like he's like, "Oh yeah, we only had like 8 left. We just took them off the website." I was like, "Oh my god, dude!" Like, well, here we are now. So, but yeah, that's kind of like the story of how it started.
Ball marker ever.
Yeah, I started. Yeah, most expensive ball marker ever. So much money put on my credit card to start this company. It was ridiculous. So, but yeah, it was pretty wild, and it's kind of like fortuitous because like now Jones has really been sort of like a big part of Matchstick's history. Good dudes. They still sell stuff from us. They sell stuff to their clients. They sell us to their clients. And it's actually kind of funny. About 4 months after that meeting, by the time 2021 was over, we were making that shuttlecock marker for Jones. So now if you buy it from Jones, yeah, it says Matchstick and it says Jones back stamped on the back. We make that marker that I lost for Jones. So that's kind of the whole circle of the story.
Bro, that is a really badass.
Yeah, that's a great story. And it's funny because I mean, take it upon yourself to like, I need something like that, but I'm gonna make it my own way. And you fucking you create a plan, you go through these different routes, and I'm sure there was probably forks in the road that you had to cross.
So many.
But no, man, that's a great story. And I mean, looking at all your stuff, the Sugar Skulls, the Sprinter van, all of this stuff is great.
Thanks, man. Yeah, awesome. Do you guys know the story behind the Sugar Skulls? Actually,
that was actually going to be my next question because I know the story, but I want you to share because I think that's really cool because you add a lot of meaning to your work, and we're getting that with the way you're telling your story about the shuttlecock and that pin in the full circle. So, Salud Golferos, we're a family business. Serge and I are cousins. Raul's married to my cousin, his sister, and then Hex is just a brother from another mother for us, so he's family too. So yeah, man, with that, please tell us the story behind the Sugar Skulls. I think the people really need to know about that. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love it. So like Matchstick is a family company too. Everybody who has like a little share of it is a family member. So I'm a Delgado obviously, and I wanted to make like I said, Sugar Skulls that weren't racist. So I drew ones that were represented every single person in my all my dad's brothers and sisters, so all the aunts and uncles, and then of course did my mom, and then my brother, the shithead that he is, was like, "Where's mine?" I was like, "All right, man, fine, I'll do you too." But so every Sugar Skull is a member of my family. So there's 5 aunts and uncles, and there's a brother, and then my mom. And so actually, my dad is now he's a little bit older, but he got his first tattoo at 71. He got his Sugar Skull tattooed on him. That's the teal one. That's like the main one, the Marcos.
Yeah.
And then my uncle, who is 67 at the time, 68 at the time, also got his. His is the one with the candle in it. And then my brother got his tattooed. Here it is, a bunch of tattoos, so it didn't matter. But but yeah. So and then of course I have, for people on YouTube, I have a Woody, which is our Matchstick Man marker, tattooed on my arm. So we all got tattoos from the same person. And actually, when we did the store opening in June, we took a photo of us with all of our Matchstick tattoos. So it's not only family members, but also like literally tattooed art on their body. And yeah, that's a big part of Matchstick. I think something I see a lot is people just sort of taking a bunch of, where every single thing a company sells is just like IP from somewhere else. It's Spider-Man or Batman or Marvel or whatever. And it's like, pretty much everything Matchstick makes is like drawn by me and is based off of something from my brain, like that. So I'm proud of them.
Dude, no, that's really sick. And Serge, we need to have the Guerrero tattooed on you somewhere. Maybe Hex too. They're the tattoo guys of our group, so maybe we get that on them.
Yeah, one day it'll happen.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, there
The
you go.
the blur's got it. Yeah. So I have the red sugar skull. Who's that
That's
one?
my brother. That's my
That's your
brother.
brother? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I
Right
like that
on.
one. It's got like the glitter on it and stuff. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does,
So
yeah. Red's my favorite color, so when I was on your site, I was like, okay, that's the one I want. I have to buy that. Let's go.
yeah.
And it's funny because, like I said, I have kind of like the cliche sports team ball markers, and I love my sports teams. I have my Dodger one and my Baltimore Ravens one, and I was
Yeah.
like, cool. I'll put the Sugar Skull on rotation. Hasn't left my hat. I'm like, nah, I love this too much, and like I just played yesterday, and when people see it, they're like, dude, that's sick. I was like, dude, it's Matchstick. Go check them out. Like,
You know what's funny is like people think this is like a sales pitch from me, but it's not. I seriously think there's something to having like your favorite golf ball marker with you. It's the same thing about like look. It's like look good, feel good kind of thing. It's like it can pick you up from a bad day, or it can keep you going in like a day where you're just like, yeah, I'm killing it, and then like, well, I got my lucky one right here. But it's that little thing you take it off your head, you take it out of your pocket, and it's like no matter how you're feeling, like you look at it, you're like, okay, that's cool. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it'll get you right back into that mode. It's like, what does that mean to you over the course of 40 rounds in a year or something? Like, I bet it literally makes people strokes. I swear, it's not a pitch.
Oh,
I
yeah.
swear to God. Like, or it makes me a better putter. I don't know, but when I'm happy, like, hell yeah.
Oh, dude, most definitely. And like I think Serge can speak to this. Like Serge is very particular about his ball markers. He's actually gone to the point, and Serge, I'll let you talk about this, where he's taken pins and snapped off the backing so that he can use that as ball markers. So Serge, take it away. Where'd you
that's
get
for
that
sure.
from?
If I break pins or the backing of it, the actual point of it,
Yeah,
they tend to break
post.
very easily. Yeah, they tend
Yeah.
to break very easily most of the time. If you're not taking care of it, if they move too much, they'll just snap off immediately. A lot of times I'll just be like, why am I going to throw this away? Why am I going to just put it away in a box or somewhere? I'm just going to use it as my ball marker now, you know? And I have like 5 or 6 of them now because they've all broken. It's just like each one is unique. But then, like Mikey was saying, Ralph was saying, there's a lot of the pins that I've been looking at like the I was looking at the John Daly one. John Daly? I don't know. How do you spell it? It's Daly, right?
Yeah,
I was looking at the Patrick when I was like, dude, I gotta have that one because I've never seen that before, and that'd be so much fun to have just out in the course. And you're right, you know, like just something as simple as that can get you back into like having fun in the game.
Straight up.
Something easy,
Exactly.
something meaningless, you know, in mostly everybody else's world, but you can see it and be like, that's hilarious, that's funny.
Yeah.
I'm back in the game.
Totally. You know what's funny is that I actually have never told this story before. That's how I found a Sugar Skull to play with while Matchstick was being put together. Because I found a Sugar Skull pin that I liked on Etsy and immediately got it and used clippers to cut the post off and then used a grinder to grind it down. So it was still obviously it was too thin. It had a waterfall back and it had like a little bit of a bump on the back, but it was like it was finally a Sugar Skull that I thought was dope. And I was like, that's what I played with. But it's also funny that you mentioned that, Ralph. Like literally in Matchstick's business plan is that we're not supposed to be the one where people. I'm like if you have like a Tyson Lamb marker, which are like super cool, but like some people are a little like bougie about it, where they're like, look at how much it costs. Those people are just nerds. Like Tyson Lamb stuff is super dope, but some people that try to flaunt it around are kind of nerds sometimes about it. Matchstick's supposed to be like you play with a guy 3 rounds in a row, and then finally you're standing next to him on a putt, and you're like, hey, what's that golf ball marker? Yeah. It's not supposed to be boast. It's not for people who want to boast, right? It's then because I also think it's also literally like a business book strategy, but it's also like I'm not a dork, so it's like word of mouth is more important as a marketing or advertising thing than anything, because like you're getting it from a trusted source and a friend, and also I don't want to be such like a gauche goober about it. And it's like that's exactly what Matchstick is supposed to be. Like your story is written in my business plan, straight up. Like I want people to notice it on the 3rd round they play with a guy. Like, oh, that's tight. Oh yeah, okay, it's this cool.
Yeah. No, that's sick, and that's so true. Like I said, like you're giving meaning. You're actually putting art into the golf space. I mean, luckily we're starting to get more and more of that. So that's what makes me really excited about seeing your brand come up and just the things that you're doing. Because that's how we work. Like our Guerrero, that most people would say like, oh, you guys went with an Aztec warrior again. And it's like, well, no. there's a reason why we went with the Aztec warrior, right? Because like we have our Mexican background, which is we're known as hard workers, we're known as fighters, but we threw the club in his hand because it's like we can be that, but then also we can be on the golf course too. There's more to us than just kind of like we almost like took a stereotypical thing and then made it non-stereotypical, and like that's
Totally.
what our
Yeah.
that's what our Guerrero is for us. And on top of that, we worked with a Mexican artist, so just layer on top of layer of meaning, so that when people have any of our products, like it actually says something about you. Um, Same thing with our towels. We like to say that if you're rocking our towels, it means that you're one of those guys that's invited to the carne asada. Well, like either you're Mexican yourself, or you're, as we call them, golf güeros. You're a white boy, a black guy, Asian, whoever you want, but you thought that was cool, and you respect Mexican culture, and you have an authentic piece on your bag.
Dude.
So
Dude,
yeah.
that's like, we're like completely in line here. Cause like one of my favorite ones I tell people when they come into the store is like, I have a native headdress golf ball marker, which I love. And it was done by Irene Crowchild, who's 2-time world long drive Canadian women's champion. First of all, gotta get her stats out there. Oh yeah, she's a boss. Dang. But she's also Suina First Peoples, so she's Albertan. And so she's a colored pencil artist. She's a very good one, but she's not like a graphic designer like me. And so we wanted to work. We've been friends for years on the internet. Like we want to do something together. And so she drew that, and it's actually, she drew it in colored pencil, and then I turned it into a graphic design piece. But it's actually her great grandfather's actual headdress. And then on the back of it, yeah, like worn by a real Suina chief. Like, and on the back of it, it says Gumicity, which is like Suina for like, almost like it's all good or something like that. Like, translation is whatever, but like something like that. And then she also did like a teepee, because like I wanted to have like I had like this teepee cookie jar like as a kid, and I was like, this thing is fucking tight, but like nobody's gonna know what it is. And also like, I'm not gonna draw a teepee, like whatever. Like, and she's like, oh, I'll do that. That's like, it's like that's part of our culture too. So like, and we actually have one more design in reserve. I'm not gonna say what it is, but it's also super tight. But it's like everything has a story behind it, like that, or like this old fashioned golf ball marker. I have an old fashioned with like a stogie smoking on top of it.
You need that one.
Yeah. So the story behind that one, I put this out in like on social media a little while ago, but it's like, I have a buddy from when I started playing golf again in Seattle, and he was like, oh, can you make me like a custom for this boys trip that we do with like all these guys? And we like, the first night we always have too many old fashions and smoke too many stogies, getting all psyched for first day of golf the next day before. And I was like, yeah, bro, let's do it. So I drew it, and then of course I drew it too good, and I was like, hey, I got to sell this to the public, like, even though I still own the rights to the art, like, I got to ask first. And he's like, yeah, like, change some stuff about it. So I changed like where the cherry was and like how big it was and how many ice cubes were in it, that kind of thing. But it's like, everything has a story behind it. It's not just like, hey, I think this will sell. Like, that's like the worst way to approach like a creative business and stuff. And also it's like, it also means more to me when it does sell, because like you're buying a little piece of art. Like, I have the artist mentality 100%, where it's like people buy it and they're almost like, oh, I'm self-validated now, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, do you sketch your artwork out, or you just work on it straight on the computer?
It depends on where I'm at. Some of it is sketched out, like so the cash stack is sort of like the Matchstick signature marker. And you can't see it because it's behind my wall to my left, but there's like literally like in a notebook, I made like a 5-minute sketch of it in like 2020. And then of course it changed off of that, obviously. But and that was actually kind of funny, because that marker has started to be stolen by other companies now, both like being stolen on like Temu, but also like I get ads for that marker now, which is funny. Like they changed it a little bit, changed the rubber band on it to be like pink and stuff, and they redrew their own version of it, but it's like, all right, cool. But so sometimes I sketch them out depending on where I'm at, but now at this point in time, I'm usually going iPad first, and then like just using that as a sketch, and then going straight into Illustrator, and then using that as a reference point. but like I'm so good at Illustrator now that like, or so good, that sounds so stupid, but like like
Hey
I'm
man,
so
you're a master of your
I'm,
craft. You're
I'm so
mastering it.
attuned to how it works. It's functionally that way that it's like it's easier for me to do it that way than to like do it like on paper. Like I've totally blown past the days where like in 7th and 8th grade where I could like draw my own arm perfectly on paper. It's like I'm just like doing it digitally. So, but yeah, that's pretty much how it works these days.
Oh, okay, that's really cool. Yeah, I'm really big into Disney, and I always go into the little art museum that's at Disneyland. And so like I'm just like kind of picturing you drawing on a piece of paper your concept for a ball marker, kind of like Hex is asking right now, and just dating it and framing it and putting it up in your shop. Like that'd be so sick. Like the original concept art kind of stuff.
It's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually the way for example, I'm building these shelves for my garage. And I sat down and I started drawing the in like a detailed plan. Like if you're looking at a construction plan, you have the measurement of the wood, you have the space you need, both in height and width. And so I start sketching it out, and then once I have it in my head, then I go over to my writing tablet, which, by the way, it looks like it took a shit because of this fucking heat.
Bro, Tempe is no joke. Dude, it's like 1:14 in the middle of the day.
I thought it was dead because I had like 15 questions that I was gonna ask, and I brought it up to fucking have my questions in front of me, and now my fucking writing, that's $400 fucking down the drain. God damn it,
bro.
Anyways, so yeah, I'll go into my writing tablet because it has architect graphs, and I'm able to like scale everything in, and that's how I do it. I sketch it on paper first, kind of get a little rough draft, make it better, and then finally I put it on my tablet. I'm able to transport it, and print it out, and it works great for me. That's why I was asking: is it that you do your rough sketches first on paper and then transfer it over to the computer or your tablet? That's
it's usually a tablet for me, and a tablet becomes more heavy when I'm doing like characters, like especially when you're talking about sort of like I did like a husky swinging a golf club for Snohomish Golf Course, which is right next to, or like it's near Seattle, but so near UW and or University of Washington, excuse me. And so we did a husky swinging a club, a husky driving a golf cart, and then a husky like holding like a tray with like burgers on it, because it was actually they only just got golf ball markers at the guy in the cart. We got them for, it was really like a branding project. So they bought all the rights to the artwork because they want to put like the burger guy on the menus and the polos people in the restaurant, that kind of thing. But when it's like that, and you're trying to figure out like, especially when you're like you're cartoon stuff or whatever, you're dealing with like how many shapes make up a face and that kind of thing. Like that's so much easier on a tablet to like sketch out that way. It's so much easier to do it that way as opposed to like just trying to like start like messing with Bezier's and Illustrator. It's a total pain in the ass. So, but I walked over to my wall and found it. But here's the first sketch of the cash stack. It's like it started as a stack, obviously, and the real thing is, it's funny because the real thing is this is why it's funny that when people steal it, because like every other company, like I'm sure people listening to this podcast have gotten ads for this company who's selling the cash stack now. They call it the cash stack, but really it's a bunch of $100 bills folded over. Is that a stack, boys, or is that a wad? Is that a wad of cash? That's a wad.
It's a wad.
Right.
It's a wad.
I grew up with Lil Wayne. That's a wop. That's a
wad, bro.
That's a wop.
And I couldn't call it that, first of all, because I started with a stack. As you saw, it's a stack with it rubber banded around, like you're stacking up, like you're counting it. But then, like, it turned into more of like money that'd be in your pocket, or like betting money, putt for dough, that whole thing. Yeah. And so I folded it over in the final version. But I was like, calling it a wad is like weird on the internet, or like I don't think that would play, in SEO. I was like, we're gonna keep it at stack. But it's like every company that sells it now calls it a stack, and it ain't a stack, bro. So. Yeah, pretty funny. But yeah, so I have the original drawing right there. So I'll use it in court one day. No, I'm just kidding. Who cares?
Hey, Dane's coming for you guys. Those companies making them. You know who you are.
I'm sick my chihuahua on you in court.
That's funny.
That's on season desist.
Oh,
so we know that you have inspiration, but like what I want to know is what gives you the drive to say, because I have it, and it's like, what gives you the drive to say, fuck, I could do it. I could do that. I'm gonna do that. what is it that drives you to do that? Like, do you have somebody that pushes you, or is it just you self-motivated? I could do it better. I could do this. I could do that. Like, you know, because you have a slew. You have not only. I mean, we're just talking about your markers, but you have, you have a lot of different things that you, and pretty sure that you kind of made them all yourself.
It's part of that. It's like, I would say the background is that, like, my father is my hero, and he has been his own business owner. He has been a work from home business owner since since I was born. You know what I mean? Like, I just grew up around that. Like, there was like another bedroom in the house that was the office, since I was a kid, that I had to, part of my chores to empty out all of his, business recycling and clean it and all that kind of stuff. And so I think that's also like, some of that is just like nature. And then also some of that ends up being nurtured, just seeing him, succeed and get to like run his life the whole way. Like, in fact, I'm 36 now and he's 73. And so we had a conversation the other day where I was telling him, like, I told him, I was like, you're my hero, right? And like, part of it was funny. Like, I remember he owns an interior plant company, which if you ever come to the shop, that's why there's a million plants around here. Got it from the pops. But I remember there'd be days where, like, it wouldn't even be like, take your kid to work day. He'd just pull me out of, I'd be like 10, 11, 12, just pull me out of school. And we'd drive up to Portland in this big giant van with like a big like top cut off and then like big pop top on top. So we could like, he'd be like, we'd walk around nurseries and we'd pick out plants. Right. And it's like, even at like 10, 11, 12, when I didn't know what like a 2 p.m. lull at the office was, I still was like, this is so tight that he gets to like, it's 10:30. We get to like go get like a hot chocolate or whatever. And like, and then I get to like walk around and gets to do whatever he wants. And he's just talking to people and being a man about town or whatever. Like, even though it's like a little small company, like that was super dope to me. So like, part of that is like, I think definitely sort of like who I am. Like, and he's told me, ever since Magic started, like, like, you were always meant to own your own business. Like, you're too much of a shithead to work for somebody else, which makes sense. And then the other thing too is like, it's I think the thing that doesn't get talked about when we talk about the sort of the artist attitude is that it's a real there's a double-edged sword to it that people don't really talk about. The first part of it is like, I need your validation or whatever. The other part of it for some people, I think at least too, is like, when I'm designing something, I'll go through the same thing in one marker, right? I'm designing something. I'm like, this is so fire. This is so dope. I love it. And then it launches, and let's say it doesn't sell as much as I want right away. And I'm just like, then I go through the next stage, which is like, oh man, this thing sucks. This is so stupid. Why did I even put it out? This is so dumb. And then like, there's a third phase, which is, you know what? All y'all are wrong. This thing is fire. I can't believe you. What, you didn't buy this? You're stupid. Like, which is like all wrapped in one person. But there's like a kind of like blind confidence in that makes you think that you can kind of do something else, where it's like, you see like a BB&F is actually another ferrule company. We make ferrules, and they're actually in Roseburg, which is south of us. But he makes like a very specific style. Like, he keeps making them longer and longer, and he makes them for people that have like, like a Mackenzie bag and like are kind of like doing the more old school thing, which is like super dope and a very cool look. But like, if you're like me and you're like a guy who wears like, all Volt LeBron 10s or something and like has chains everywhere, it's like, okay, we're like, where's the stuff for me? I'm not like doing the sort of the old school golf thing. I'm doing the new school golf thing. Where's that? Which is why all my ferrules are like super bright ass colors, and like they're all shorties. They're all little shorties. So it's like, I'm like, I had these pink and purple ferrules on my clubs that I made them for a while. They're Cheshire cats, right? So those are just like we would think of. And then I matched them with bright teal Iomic grips, where I was just like, I don't get, like, you're going to see me shoot 89 with these or whatever, but like, I don't care. I look dope. Like, screw it. You know what I mean? Like, so like, that was like, not like his thing is bad. It's just like, there's a whole other thing that nobody's even thought to do. Like, why is nobody doing this? And it's kind of the same thing with golf ball markers. It was like, somebody told me the other day, I'm going to start using this in places. I was following my pro around an LPGA event here in Portland, and her dad's friend goes, oh yeah, like, I love your markers. You know what the problem is with a bunch of the ones you buy, like either at like Dick's or whatever, or from like other golf ball marker companies that will remain nameless, is like, they're all kind of like airport quality. I'm like, bro, airport quality? That is genius. That's exactly what they are. They're garbage, dog. Like, how come like so like I kept getting them in the mail and they'd be more expensive than mine, and they come like the big thing like Matchstick for like people who aren't haven't like seen us before. It's like everything comes in a real Matchbox. Like it comes in a Matchbox.
The packaging guy. So while he pulls up some of this stuff, his packaging is so legit. Like he said, he's gonna show you right now. It comes like a little Matchbox. I thought you sent me matches, bro. I was like, okay, cool. I thought he's playing on this and he sent me some matches, but
I have a funny story about that. I'll show you the packaging first, which is like this is if you're on YouTube, you can see this. This is a real Matchbox. Okay, you got like a fake striker here because that's hazmat and I can't mail that. They used to come with real matches in them. Now it's printed on the tray on the inside, and they come wrapped up, sealed in a little cellophane, and then there's a sticker on the back on top of this. This says Design in Portland. Sticker on the back of what's inside so you know what it is. But it was a reaction to like I was buying markers for like 30, 40, 50 bucks from other small companies that are smaller than me now. And like they're throwing them, when they're manufactured, they're in these little tiny Ziploc bags. They're throwing them in like brown craft mailers and just like almost giving you a little bit of a middle finger. Just like no note, no packaging, no nothing. Just like what? So like mine come in branded mailers that are like bright orange, and they have like where the self-sticking thing folds over. There's like it looks like a like texture of a match striker. There's like Woody is on one side. There's a phrase on the other side. You get 3 of my match tees that are like, bamboo tees. They're all wood at the bottom and red at the top. You get stickers. You get a little soft touch card for me that says thank you. Yeah, you get 3 stickers in there. If I have it, if you buy a marker, and I have about 17 different stickers. So, and I have 33 SKUs right now of markers. Like if you buy a marker and I remember, I'll throw in the sticker to that marker also. Like, that's what you're getting from me for $20, like all of that stuff. And this. So, and the funny thing too is like I sponsored a hole at 1080 The Fan, which is a sports radio station here in town, out at Langdon Farms, which is a public course. Langdon Farms, I was sponsoring hole number 7, which is the shortest par 5 in the state of Oregon. It's a par 3. It's a volcano dome, and you got bunkers around the side. And so I'm hosting a KP contest. People were out there, and they got the 1080 The Fan logo made by me in a Matchbox in their thing at the before the start. And then they didn't realize what it was. A bunch of guys would come by to the booth, and they see all the stuff, and they're like, "Oh, that's not matches? That's a ball marker?" I was like, "Yeah, bro." And they ripped that thing right in front of me. A bunch of guys were like, "Oh, this is the best thing in here." It's like, I mean, yeah, I know, bro. Like, yes, totally. Like the packaging function is a huge thing. It's like it's also a place to put your golf ball marker back afterwards. It's like you can actually find it in that junk thing that you don't have to reach in and be like getting stabbed with teas in your nails or whatever. So there's just like a lot of thought to it. Matchstick is run like the company I wanted to buy from in the summer of 2020. That's where every decision comes from. What did I want to get as a customer?
That's dope. I like that right there. What you just said.
I was just thinking that it's too bad. It's too bad that you can't not send like actual matches, because I'm thinking like, it would be a double whammy. Not only do we get the ball marker, but we get matches where we can light our cigars out there. Because sometimes
that's part of why it's called Matchstick, bro. Like part of that was like, what do people do on the course? What could the packaging be? And it's like, oh, people like light stogies or whatever else they have. And it's like, and also like if you're playing in a match, you're going for the flag stick, and it's like match and stick. There's something happening there, right? And like so they did the first 3 weeks they did come in real, like they came in these match boxes and they had matches in them. And then the second month we were in existence, I had another job at the time. I was an accountant. We had like a 5-figure month, and I was like, what the hell is happening? Like, this is just a company I started on my credit card. This is insane. But that means they're like getting shipped to like Japan and Singapore and Ireland and stuff. They get stuck in customs. We sold so many of them that they're getting like, we're getting noticed and getting stuck in customs because the striker and the matches are both hazmat. So now the striker is just a piece of ink that looks like that color, and it's printed on it. So, but that's how I found out. Who knew?
That's funny. Yeah. No, dude. Yeah. When I got my ball marker, I got the notification on my phone. Oh, your package is here. Went out to the mail. I was like, cool. I'm excited to see. I was just excited for the ball marker. And then I take the package out. I was like, oh, dude. Like, I instantly noticed the strike strip on the packaging, and I was like, the attention to detail is super dope. And so then like I open it up, then the stickers fall out, and I was just like, dude, you put so much work into your packaging like that. That's freaking dope.
Yeah. Matchstick is a medium margin product. That's what it comes down to. Where I don't make the most money I possibly can. I make the best product I possibly can, because I honestly felt like it sucked to get, like, especially when like you're an internet company, you know, so you find them through the like the search thing or the explore tab, or it gets served to you or whatever it is, and you're like, I guess I'm gonna take a gamble on this company. It's like, how many of you bought from? We're just like, I mean, sometimes the stuff doesn't even come, but you're just like, all right, well, that's $30 and never getting back. It's like, let's not be that, dude. Like, let's do something people are really gonna love, because like I care about people like getting cool stuff, because I thought it was a bummer to sort of like get screwed out of something that I was really hoping for, you know, and it takes some time, and it took me forever to find a golf ball marker I liked, or I really never did. It's like, man, well, let's make it so nobody else has that experience, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's very relatable to our company as well, because we take time into making sure that especially our towels, because that's how we really started, is the towels, making sure that all our towels are going to be shipped out well. They're going to be well made. Nothing's coming apart, you know, everything's well checked, you know, and it's really cool to hear that there are people like yourself doing the same thing, that are taking their time with their products and not just sending out crappy ass designs, or, you know, things that are cracking at the first use of it.
Yep. Yeah, totally. I agree.
Yeah, for sure. No, great call out, Serge. And for those of you that don't know, I don't know if you guys know, but Raul actually, because Raul handles all of our inventory and ships everything out, but Raul actually does a handwritten note for every package, and he sends stickers in it too. So, fun fact.
I love that. I did that for probably a year. I love it, dude. That's awesome. I mean, eventually I got to the point where I have like a note that I thought goes with everybody, and you know, it's printed on a card and it has my signature on it. But like I was writing people, like, especially when like I knew who they were, it'd be like I'd make some mention or whatever. It's like people thought it was dope, but it's like, it's because I actually care about you. I don't just want like, thanks for your money. It's like, that's the way you really connect with people. And like golf is such a connective sport, you know? You're like, you meet new friends every day when you play as a single, or as you only have two guys or whatever. It's tight. So I love that.
Yeah, definitely. One thing you were mentioning right now, Dane, is you were talking about kind of being an online, you know, company, an online brand. But as we obviously were talking about, you've expanded into brick and mortar. What was kind of like that final, like, hey, yep, it's time to knock the door down, go brick and mortar, don't just strictly go online? What was that for you?
I have a really disappointing story, but it's also kind of cool, which is that, so Matchstick has run out of wherever I've lived for years, but I lived upstairs in this building in St. John's, and when we've kind of hit a rent bubble here in Portland where they can't really charge that much more money. So when my lease came up upstairs in this building, I looked around and see what else they had, and they had this commercial work-live loft on the ground floor, you know, facing the street. And so I went down and looked at it, and the manager ended up kind of giving me a deal on it. And it was like another, I don't know, $100 or something like that to get here, and like to triple the size, and also have a commercial zoned space. And which kind of makes sense, because although it's triple the size, it's also like, it's got concrete floors, it's got huge ceilings, it's got a commercial door, it opens to the street. That's weird. You know, it's like, who else would want this except for somebody that has my exact company? It's very odd. Like how, you know, like the kitchen was like not put in here originally. It's like, it's all like stainless steel. It's an afterthought, you know, there's like no storage. Like it all makes sense, you know? But so I kind of have the benefit of, I moved in here thinking like, well, since I already have to pay rent to live here, so me and the dog can have somewhere to live, why don't I just get insurance and open the door? Yeah. Of course, as you guys have seen online, if you have looked up the sort of the stuff we've done about it, the place has been like put together in a way that's not what I did. Obviously, I spent way too much time putting everything together. Also with the help of my beautiful mother. Thank her, of course. She helped me build this place from the ground up.
Shout out, Mom.
She was the best, bro. Like, she's a teacher. She spent so many weeks in here helping me build stuff. She's the best. Like, I had to give her a big shout out during the grand opening. But yeah, it's like I have the ability to be in here without taking out a second lease, to have another space. And so that took a lot of time. But that's also allowed me to sort of want to lend the space to other people. So I have a lot of companies in here, like our friend John from Buenagente, who don't necessarily have the ability to have their own space or aren't in that many retail spaces. It's like, well, give me some of your stuff and I'll sell it in here. Or I can at least do like a brand evangelist thing and tell people about him. Like, yeah, this is my boy John. Like, we're close. We talk like twice a week. Like, we've talked about, like I make these ball markers for him. He does this, he does that. He's in Medford, he's another Oregonian. Like, let's do it. Like that, or like the divot tools I was talking about earlier. The guy's got like 48 followers. Like, that's who I want to have in here. It's like, let's put some other people on because I have the benefit and I like lucked into this space. And it's like, it's really dope. So it's been fun. Like, the response has been crazy. I have not anticipated how many people have wanted to come when this company is still like, I have a lot of, how about half the business is like customs, like online customs for clients, like, Jones or Pepsi or Tether or whoever it is, Top Golf. So it's like I still have to like work on the actual part of the company, like the golf shop is kind of like just for fun, to be honest. And so I've actually had to tone the hours down so I'm not having to like watch the door all the time. So, but when people are here, they're pretty stoked about it.
That's really cool, man. And Serge, I want to get back to what we were talking about before the podcast kicked off. Is overall for the shop, like, what was the vibe that you were going for? Serge was noticing on there that it had a little bit of a skate feel. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so it's literally supposed to be like a skate shop or clubhouse. Like, and it's so funny because we were talking a little bit before the podcast started recording, and it's like I was like, oh, you're the second person who said that. It's like, that's perfect because I'm 36. I grew up skateboarding, like, like the second wave of skateboarding. Like, I was all about that stuff, and like, that's what it's supposed to be. So like when you walk in, like, it's got like a bunch of like retail stuff, but it also has like a big putting mat. It has like, I have a Capto, which is like a TrackMan for your putter. You can like strap it on, and like I got an extra iPad. You can like check all your data. You can like fire up the PlayStation 5 and like, play PGA 2K on like a 70-inch TV. You can just like come up. There's a TV upstairs in this workshop. You can come up here and like chill out with me while I like laser engrave stuff or wrap packaging or work on art. Like, it's supposed to be a hangout space, especially for people I like know. It's like, yeah, come hang out in St. John's with me. So like, it's supposed to be like a little spot to chill out and practice your golf if you want, and hang out with the dog, pet the dog. She'll be all over you. It's fun.
It honestly sounds like you guys have become like a big collective of designers, artists, people that just kind of get together and use the same area to create stuff, and not just that, but you've got, like you were mentioning, the store where you just come and chill, just come and hang out, be with people that are kind of like-minded, which is really cool. It's really cool to have that, because a lot of the times with artists, you can work off of each other. You were mentioning the headdress earlier. You worked off of with your friend. And you can keep creating newer stuff with like that, having all these different people together with you.
Yeah, it's dope. It's like, and we're like today, like I have a buddy who's up from San Diego who came through, and it's like now it's like a stop where people stop off. Like when they're in town, they come see this spot. It's also helpful that I'm like right next to Wildwood. My buddy Ryan O'Meara runs Golf Scout, and also next to Heron Lakes, which has 2 courses, which is about 10 minutes away from me. But it's like, okay, well, what am I gonna do today? Or I had or some folks came down from, I think they were coming down from Idaho. They're from Boise, and I was like, oh, what are you guys doing like in town? Like, oh, we're going to see a concert, but it's not till tonight. So we're like, what should we do today? So like, we got a coffee, we like went and saw the falls, and like now we're here. It's like, okay, well, I love that. Like, we're on your schedule of like cool things to do. Like, that's tight. Like, or shit, I even have some people like the farmers market, the St. John's farmers market is at the other end of my block. So people have to walk by my store to go to it. And so I just had like the door propped open on Saturdays and have the little triangle sign out there. I have people walk in, like I have a sticker of the dog on the door, just as like shop dog here, just people like know what it is, like liability, or if they're not a dog person, but it's like, I had people walk in the other day that were just like, oh, we just came in to see the dog. We don't golf. I was like, tight, hang out on the couch. She'll get in your lap. It's fine. She loves it. So
best marketing tool ever. Use your dog.
It's great. Exactly. It really is. It really is. People are just like, oh my God, they follow the dog. And I'm just like, I gotcha.
Yeah, that's cool. Dude, well, I can't wait to get back up to Portland. I've been out there, like I said, for my honeymoon. My wife, I mean, we live by the beach, so we're like, let's just do something different. So
Yeah.
we wanted to go see the Pacific Northwest, did all the hikes, all the waterfalls. So I definitely want to get back out there and check out your shop. And Hex, I'm gonna put it on you, bro. Try to make it happen. Get over there. Yeah,
Well,
I know
I'm gonna
work's
be
taking.
there. I'm gonna be there in September. I have yeah, it's gonna probably be the first or second week of September that I'm gonna be there. So I'll hit
Okay.
you up.
Hit me up,
And
dude.
I'll be there with my boss, who's an avid golfer as well. We'll go in, we'll pick up some pins and shit.
I love it, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, come through.
That's
we
gonna
will.
be sick.
It's gonna be
Heck
fun.
yeah. Yeah, no,
And
dude.
then we can go. My boss is avid alcoholic as well, just like me. So we'll go get some beers.
Yeah, I'll show you the sites in here, then I'll show you the sites out down the street.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's funny because this year that I was out there, because I had a project in where is it? South, about 2 hours
Tualatin,
south.
Tigard? Oh, Eugene?
No, Eugene. I had a
Yeah,
project, and so I went and I visited my cousin before I went to Eugene, and she's like she no longer drinks anymore, but she still likes to drink craft non-alcoholic beer, and she turned me out to a whole section of this one place, where she buys her stuff, and I didn't know how much non-alcoholic beer there is in out there in Oregon. It's a shitload.
Yeah.
I mean, they had stouts.
We're leading the way, bro.
IPAs, and so here I am trying them all. They all taste like real beer. It's not like the non-alcoholic O'Doul shit used to be.
Yeah, from back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's actually really, really good stuff without alcohol. It's pretty cool. So, Oregon is becoming second to San Diego. The amount of breweries that are in Oregon right now are insane. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, one of my closest friends, and he actually owns a little tiny part of Matchstick, is actually a sales manager for a beer distributor. And one of my favorite markers that we've ever done is actually with Chicha Brewing, which is a Latino brewery in West Salem. And they make fire beer, bro. They're super dope. Yeah, and they're big time golfers. So
nice.
if you come out,
That's like,
or if you ever go through Salem, go check out Chicha, XICHA.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Ralph. Yeah, I'm with Ralph, man. I'm telling you, like, I went to Portland and I did it in a not so common way. I took the train up there. It was a 24-hour Amtrak train, and I gotta say, man, I loved it. But when I got there, we were just like, what do we do? We were staying at McMinimans, and
which McMinimans? Crystal Ballroom?
The one
or Edgefield.
The one in the city, right in the city. It had Crystal Hotel. And they actually make an IPA cocktail there that I've got to say, at first I was kind of like really hesitant, but I was like, damn, give me another one almost immediately after I finished that one.
Was it the one where they mixed two beers together?
No, it was just one beer.
Oh, okay.
It was just one IPA. Yeah, but then I'm talking to the bartender there, and he's telling me that they also have a golf course there. And I was like, damn it, that would be fun. And I was looking at pictures of it. I was like, wow, this looks like a really nice golf course. That's also attached to a brewery, or their brewery.
Yeah, it's out of Edgefield, which is in Troutdale, and they have like a golf course. It's like it's a pitch and putt. So it's like you hit off mats, but everything else is grass. And I think the longest hole is like maybe 85 yards or something like that. It's super fun. You can take a beer with you. Yeah, it's like a huge area. It's a really cool place to stay. It's got more expensive in recent years, but
No, I don't think it's like that.
It's probably nicer, bro. They get so much rain up there, it just all stays green.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's a lot nicer.
Yeah, it's all green, and there's a bunch of different places. There's like, I don't know, 4 or 5 different restaurants, and there's a different like little like there's a I guess it's a bar that's in a thing that's basically like the groundskeeper Willie Shack. It fits like 8 fucking people. It's awesome. Yeah. So it just got more expensive though, and a lot of times it's so hard to get in there It's like you'll go like you'll stay on a Tuesday with your girlfriend or whatever, and it's like, and you're like in February, and there's still like 2 weddings happening there, and you're like, how is this possible, bro? Like, get all these people out of the way. I'm trying to get a drink, and you have like 40 drunk people in front of you. You're just like, oh my god. But in the daytime, super tight, and also like a cool place to go. The cool thing about McMenamins is they usually have like they'll have these saltwater soaking pools that are all like 92, 95 degrees, something like that. But like, yeah, and there is just like a big lagoon. It's really cool.
Yeah, I ended up getting into that pool, the one they have to have at the one in
Crystal.
Portland. Yeah, Crystal.
That one,
like
that one's the secret one, dude. That one's the cool one. That's my favorite one. No one's ever down there. It's at the basement of the hotel and has those 2 like big things that just pour water into it all times.
Pour water into
it's
your back.
super tight. Yeah, it's super tight.
Oh dang.
Yeah,
there you go, Serge.
Like, it's like a spa. It's honestly like a little,
it's like a spa.
Yeah, you're just in there hanging out. Just it was fun, but it was creepy because it's like super dark. You don't know who's gonna come in.
Yeah. So I'll tell you my favorite place to go that's a McMenamins location, and because I like you guys, I'll give it to your listeners, which is Grand Lodge. It's in Forest Grove, which is west of Hillsborough, so more towards it's like 55 minutes away from town. So it's a trip out there. You want to stay there. It's cheaper. It's like an edge field that's like a quarter of the size, or maybe even a fifth of the size. It's really small because it's just one big thing. It used to be a Masonic lodge, but they have a little lagoon thing that's done like in a Japanese garden style. So it's like, got like a bamboo and like Japanese maple and stuff. And it's like, usually it's like $85 to stay there. It's got a movie theater in it. There's a bunch of different bars with like pool, and there's a spa. Like spa is okay, but like there's usually like live music. Yeah, it's like, that is the place to go if you're going to go to McMenamins and not like spend $400 a night, but you still get like the saltwater pool where you get out and you're just like, oh my god, I look like I'm 20 again. My skin looks incredible. It's fire. Grand Lodge
now I've got like
in Forest Grove.
Now I've got like three goals to go back to Portland.
I was about to say,
back to Portland.
We haven't even talked about golf, bro. There's so much good golf in Portland. Like.
And I can't believe it's because when I was looking for golf courses out there, even though I didn't have my golf club, I'm like, maybe I have to rent some somewhere or something. I couldn't find too many, and I don't know if I just wasn't trying hard enough, but the only one I came across was the McMenamins one.
Yeah, you're
and
probably
I don't
in the
know how
right.
you guys golf with the amount of damn rain that falls there. I swear to God, there was not one day that I wasn't in Eugene. That motherfucker was always raining, and it was always depressing.
Hey, I went to school in Eugene, and I stayed there for 2 years afterwards. Eugene is the most gray place in Oregon. It's because of where it's geographically located next to certain like hills and stuff. It's like other than Seattle, it's the grayest place I've ever lived. Like I love the Ducks. I do work with the University of Oregon, but like I do not like Eugene. It's too depressing. Yeah. Portland is like less like that. But honestly, bro, like
I was in and out.
We put on some rain gear and you take 4 pairs of socks, bro. It's not that big deal.
Back. Yeah, it's funny because I was in and out for about 5 months. You know, every other 3 weeks I was there. And I was like, fuck, does this place ever get sun? And the contractor who I hired, he's like, bro, look at my eyes. Like, I have no sun. And he was from Texas, so he's all
he's
dude.
Like,
hey, what time of year was this, by the way?
This was so we wrapped up in early June, late May, and the project actually kicked off at the end of January. So it was that time. That time frame. Poor contractor. He's like, bro, I haven't seen the sun in like 6 months.
It's something about like there's a bunch of buttes in Eugene, and then like where the river goes and how close it is to you end up basically closer to the Cascade Range, like than like Salem is and stuff. Nice. It's kind of like traps clouds in there is what it feels like. Yeah. It's just gray, bro. It's
beautiful land though. I mean, it's beautiful. The forest, everything out there is nice. City was cool. It did have, a lot of hippies on the street, but I mean, it was a cool spot. Everybody's nice. Nice.
Yeah. Eugene's gotten. I feel old. I went there a few months ago. We were a vendor at the 25th anniversary for Banded Dunes, and so on the way back, we came through Eugene. I took a bunch of photos and stuff, and showed some people some spots from when I was a youngster there. But I was surprised at how like much bigger that town has gotten. It's pretty wild. So
What?
it's not a bad spot to go through.
It's a cool spot to see. What I liked about it is that you guys fucking have shrooms everywhere. Go into a gas station, there's fucking shrooms on the wall. Like, oh shit, hook you up.
It's pretty tight. It's pretty tight.
Hex is getting all psychedelic out there, bro.
I was like, shit, they're selling shrooms at the gas station.
Yeah, just take the edge off. It's fine.
It was cool. No, I love this.
No, man, that we definitely need to get back up to Portland. We were telling John when he was on the pod. Yeah, no, we definitely love SoCal, born and raised. We love it, but definitely got mad respect for Portland, and we definitely need to get up there. The
big spot I would say, like especially if you're in SD, like you ever play Goat Hill Park?
Of course, I was just there the other day.
Okay, so Wildwood is Portland's version of Goat Hill Park.
Really?
Okay. It's a full 72, but it's still short. But it's the same thing where it's just like, like on Goat Hill Park, like that par 4 where there's just like a straight drop off and like you have to just like hit straight over and go around it or whatever. Or like the par 3 right after that where it's like there's the hill and it slides all the way down, like whatever that is, like 7 or 5. I don't know what it is, but I've only played Goat Hill like 3 times, but I was only there for like a weekend. But Wildwood is that version of that. Plus the same thing, like the branding is wild. Like I've done a bunch of stuff with them. This is actually, people who are on YouTube will be able to see this, but all their brandings around a Sasquatch. And this is the alternate version of the Sasquatch that the guy who runs it, Ryan O'Meara, did. And so I did like bag tags and stuff for him. And then the inside of the clubhouse, and a wall in the driving range. But I'm talking about like the entire inside of the clubhouse. All the ceiling walls, all the interior of the bathrooms has all been done with a muralist named Drew Rindland. Planet Goddamn Studio on Instagram, who's one of my closest friends, has done there's basically murals everywhere, but like crazy psychedelic cartoons of golf stuff. Like the main one is like if you walk in the front and then turn around and look at the stimp meter, above it's the hand of God coming out of the sky, only it's a Sasquatch hand, and he's placing a golf ball on a tee, and the tee is enormous, and then the whole thing is the actual course. It's like wild. It's a whole vibe. So you got to get out to it.
Okay. Well, what was it called again? One more time.
Wildwood.
Okay.
Wildwood.
Cool. Guys, we got a list. We got a list of things to do when we go back up to Portland.
We've been writing that right there. Right.
I know. I'm like, Serge is all about the weird and funky. So the fact that Sasquatch is the
I know. I'm like, dude, that Sasquatch got my name all over it.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah. Right on. Well, dude, this has been a really good conversation, and believe it or not, we're like almost an hour and a half in. So I have a couple wind down questions.
God damn.
I know, right? That's how you know it's good, man. Time flies when you're having fun. So I have 3 wind down questions for you here. First question
Then I got my questions afterwards.
Okay, so go ahead and ask yours, because mine's gonna be kind of like rapid fire. So go ahead, Hex. What's your question?
Yeah. All right. So what are we drinking? Man? Dane, what are we drinking on the course? What are we drinking when we're
on the course?
Yeah.
Okay, on the course, it's usually. This sounds so gully. The course is Captain and Diet.
Captain and Diet. Okay.
It's Captain and Diet because it's like there's usually like the vodka tequila selections are not good, so it's like it's usually Captain. Captain is a safe bet. At home, I'm usually having like Aria or Aviation, something in the middle, but like tequila soda, lemon and lime. Like really squeeze that lemon and lime in there. Like I'm 36, so I'm old, so it's like somehow like diet soda feels like less sugary than me. But it's like really old. But it's like
they're older than you, so they're laughing.
I know, but I'm saying like this is what happens though, bro. It's like you squeeze like a whole like half lemon and a half lime in there. It's like, oh man, fucking dessert, bro. Dessert for alcohol. Yeah. It's like putting it in like Mountain Dew would be just like disgusting. You know what I mean? Oh yeah. So yeah, that's usually what I'm having at home. Like something in that range.
That's cool. Okay. And so you said your favorite tequilas are
I haven't done that much exploring. Like reposados and stuff are hard because like I'm an old boy where like I have a GERD, so like I can't do anything like aged or anything. Like I can't drink. I used to be like a Maker's Neat guy. Like I had a sip out of a birdie bottle on Sunday. It was just like, all right, well I feel like terrible for like 4 hours. This is great. So it's all like silvers and shit, bro. So it's just like
Well, hey, shit, that's what I'm drinking right now, silver.
Hey, well, there you go. Yeah, see, it's fine. Yeah, I just like, like here, since aviation is local, it's like usually just aviation. It's easy.
Got it. Now, is aviation, they produce, are they just a company that
Or sorry, aviation is gin. Excuse me. I'm talking about Aria and aviation.
Yeah.
Gin.
That's what I was asking. I was asking if it was a distillery that produces different types of spirits.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I was about to say that's Ryan Reynolds.
It's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I guess I drink. Okay, so I basically cycle through all three clear liquids. It's like I'm drinking Tito's, I'm drinking aviation, or God, I'm trying to think of like tequila selection at bars in Portland is really bad.
Is it?
If that's it's not good. It's like it's part of the whole like dive bar vibe thing. So it's like
I love that.
Unless it's like it's okay. It's like I don't know.
So I went to what's this one place called? So it's in I forgot the bar. But so it's a bar out there, and it's the name of a guy, but bar. I went in there, and it's just south of Portland, and and when I went in there, there was a ton of gambling going on. There was a poker game, and it was $100,000 stake. Yeah, cool spot, had great wings, and they had the tequila I had. Yeah, so I'm
trying to think of what the hell you are talking about. It's a guy's name, and there's $100,000 bets happening.
Yeah, so I want to say the place is called Pete's. I think it's called Pete's. I could be wrong, but I come in, and sure enough, there's a table, like there's 4 poker tables, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I look at the board, and it's $100,000 pot, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I see slot machines, then the bars to the left. Anyways, that was a cool spot that I went to.
Now I'm going to ask everybody I know what the hell you're talking about. That sounds incredible.
We're just going to post this clip right now.
I think you just accidentally walked into somebody's house and just like
yeah. He's like he came out with his life.
Backroom casino or something.
They had a full bar. They had they had tables for people who just wanted to eat. It was a cool spot, man. I mean, and they had all the selection tequila that I could think of. So yeah.
You know what's funny is that the tequila I drink at home, I don't know what it's called because they changed the name of it. But like one thing about Portland liquor stores is that like those cats know what the fuck they are talking about. Like, so you go in and you're like, hey man, I want this thing. And it's like, now I literally buy it like I'm a kid. I'm just like, I see the label and I just grab it. And I'm just like, that one. Because it's like this, it's slightly cheaper than Tito's. So it's like $21 for $7.50. But like, I literally don't know what it's called anymore because they changed the name of it.
Why did they change the name of it?
I don't know. I was buying a bunch of it in COVID when I didn't have a job and I was making an extra $600 a week. I thought I was keeping them motherfuckers in business. It's like, yeah, give me a handle.
Single-handedly.
Yeah. I thought I was doing it. It's, and plus you know how like these companies, like they all like name them something similar, like, and then like, and like, so like, and the label is like silver, gray, and red, a little black. I don't know what it's called, but I literally don't know.
Bro,
what it's
it
called.
sounds like you're just pop off.
Oh my god.
Exactly.
Silver, black, and red. I was like, that's pop off.
or if you're from up here, HRD, which is like grain alcohol.
Was it in a plastic bottle?
No, it's not a plastic. Well, HRD is a plastic bottle for sure. Yeah, disgusting.
Oh, man.
Anyway,
memories.
And then,
oh man,
last question: golfing, stogie or no stogie?
No stogie, but I did just have this guy come through, and like Manny Trujillo, and he came through with, I'm not kidding, boys, $200 cigars for me. He found me online. He's like probably my dad's age. He's like right around 70 or a little bit of 60. Actually, I have a. Let's see here. We got a decade 10th anniversary. Rocky Patel. And then let's see here. Olivia Milanio Gran Reserva Limitada. And then he gave me this, which is what holds your stogie. And he's like, I want you to like laser engrave them for me and stuff. It was just like, this guy rules, bro. Like He bought a bunch of stuff. He pre-saled a bunch of hats to all of his buddies he's gonna give them. It was just like, it was fire. So I need to like, actually don't even have like a chopper anymore. So, but no, I need to get into it. But you're about to see me on the internet smoking a stogie soon because I don't have a humidor. They're just sitting out here, so I'm probably ruining them.
Yeah, you gotta smoke it.
Oh yeah, smoke that, bro.
Terrible.
If you don't have a humidor,
that's a perfect matchstick moment right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Bro.
I got all the video and camera equipment to make me look cool. You'll see me at, like in a photo or a slow motion video outside the front door smoking a stogie holding Murph. Yeah, you'll see it. Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
All right, Mikey's all yours. I'm gonna go get me another drink.
All right, man. All right, Serge, you have any quick fire questions before I do my quick fire questions?
Nope, go for it.
All right. So I've been up to Portland and I heard, hey man, you gotta go to Voodoo. Tried Voodoo. I tried Blue Star. Which one's the best donut in Portland, or is there a third option?
I've come around on this, and it's for a very specific reason, which is that I believe that Voodoo has changed their recipe. They used to be extremely bready. It was like, if you got like a regular like chocolate bar from there, it was literally like eating like a French loaf of bread. It was disgusting. It's like chewy.
Yeah.
The best donut in Portland is the fresh ones you buy from Safeway at 7 a.m. That's the answer.
Really?
Yeah, straight up.
Whoa.
It's not hard. Like all the takes have been happened before. You know, Blue Star has some interesting stuff, but they keep going out of business. And Voodoo is like stale cereal has been stupid on donuts for 15 years. It's dumb. They do make a very good regular chocolate bar now. That's like they changed it so it's not so bready. But the answer is Safeway at 7 a.m., bro.
You know what? I kind of agree with you because Safeway, I think, owns Vaughn's or vice versa, whichever.
Yeah.
And I've had those donuts, and I've got it. And my supervisor actually bought it for us one day, and I'm like, "Where did you get these donuts?" She's like, "Oh, I got them from Vaughn's." I was like, "Vaughn's? Like, how is Vaughn's coming out with donuts this amazing?"
Yeah, they're fire. And if you want something that's like a fancy Portland thing that's still in that range, Coco. Go to Coco.
Coco. Okay. And that's a list of places to go when we get back up to Portland. Okay, cool. Very surprised on the answer there, but I like your reasoning behind it and I accept it.
Yeah.
All right. Up next is favorite golf course in all of Oregon. I know you mentioned Wildwood, but is there anything that tops that? You have one that stands above the rest?
Yeah. Actually, it's great.
It doesn't have to be a luxury one. It could be because my favorite one is just county course. So it could be, anything that you favor.
Yeah, your number one course in all of Oregon.
So it's Wildwood, but it's also recently been tied with a very good customer of Matchsticks, and the place that has the coolest Matchstick gear outside of the shop that I'm sitting at now is Astoria Golf and Country Club. And so I think you are able to play it. Like, they don't advertise, but you are able to play it as a non-member. You just have to pay like $200 or whatever. But it is extremely cool. Like it feels like half of the holes are like in these huge like they have a recreation of the postage stamp at Troon, and like half of them are these giant like swales and stuff. It is just like absolutely gorgeous out there. I love it.
Nice. Okay, cool. We've gone a whole podcast. We've mentioned Bandon Dunes, but we haven't talked about it. So look, there we go. Bandon Dunes has been beaten. Cool. And my last question for you is, we created a playlist of all of our guests, so that everybody's contributed music to this playlist. But what is your one song? If you could put one song on this playlist for the golf course, what would it be?
Okay. I feel like this is a safe space, so I can say this.
Of course.
It's not something I would listen. I don't listen to this type of music outside of the golf course, but I have a friend who's very good at making playlists, and this is somehow worked into it. And it's been confirmed to me by other friends that this type of stuff is also on their playlists. But it would be a tie between Rich Girl and Brandy. Okay, it's one of those two to get but the whole yacht rock thing on the course, there's something about the vibe, bro. Like, I don't know what, I would never put that. I'm not going to, you're not going to come to Matchstick Golf in St. John's and open the door and hear Hall & Oates. That's not going to happen. But I will throw that shit on the golf course.
Okay. Well, there we go. Both of them are going on the playlist. So if anyone complains about what gets thrown on there, talk to Dane. Oh man, I love it. Hax, were you gonna say something or? No. He's like, I will keep that. Awesome. All right, Dane. Well,
Dane, here's my. I don't know if if you know this song.
Oh, you're gonna play yours?
You hear it?
Yeah,
I can kind of hear it.
It's coming in and out. We're gonna get copyrighted on this podcast now, Hex.
Yeah, I think like
what? I can try to tell what the melody is. What is it?
That's Luis Miguel. Luis Miguel.
That sounds familiar.
Ahora te puedes marchar. That's the name
Send
of the
it
song.
to me.
We'll send it to you soon.
I'm gonna add it to my list. See now,
It's on the playlist.
It's on the playlist. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll send you the link to the playlist. Right on.
Hey, listen, you're going on tee number 1, and even and you're on the 10th tee, and you're doing bad. You just hit 50.
You know what I should have mentioned? I should have mentioned my friends played without me the other day, and they said they put on the Chicago Bulls Michael Jordan theme song on the first tee.
Oh, that's a good one. Maybe I'll add that.
Yeah. They're all too jacked. They all miss the fairway.
Yeah. That's a good one. If it's on Spotify, I'm adding that onto the playlist. I actually just saw a video. This guy came up to MJ at a restaurant. He playing the trumpet, and he was playing that to him. And then that's funny. All right, guys. Well, it's been a wonderful conversation. Dane, thank you so much again for being on the podcast. Yeah, dude, I think there's tons of stories in that brain of yours that we definitely need to get you back on and talk some more.
I love it. Yeah, this is a blast, guys.
Thank you. So yeah, guys, please go follow Matchstick if you're ever in the Portland area. Go check out his shop. It looks really cool on Instagram. It's on the list as well as all these other things that I want to do going back into Portland. So hopefully we get up there soon. And as always, to our guests, Salud Golferos.
Salud Golferos.
Sir.
See you guys.